None of it's a surprise, and as one tariff expires, another one gets put in its place. What's really happening is that when Trump first came into office, he imposed these broad global tariffs, 10 to 50% on every country in the world. The Supreme Court struck those down in February, and then Trump imposed a replacement tariff, a temporary tariff under a different law called Section 122, that was 10% for 150 days. Well, that 150 days ends today, and so these new tariffs, based on another law, a third law for forced labor, well, the law is actually an unfair trade practices statute, but it's applied to countries for their alleged lax enforcement of forced labor bans, that these tariffs pretty much replicate everything that was there before that was torn down or that is expiring, and is we're coming back to 10% or 12.5%. The one constant is that Trump's administration is just committed to doing this. They're going to find whatever tool they can to just continue to try to use tariffs as a means to force other countries to make concessions to try to reduce the U.S. trade deficit.
Our country and its taxpayers have been ripped off for more than 50 years, but it is not going to happen anymore. It's not going to happen. In a few moments, I will sign a historic executive order instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. Reciprocal, that means they do it to us and we do it to them. So if you look at that, China, first row, China, 67%. That's tariffs charged to the USA, including currency manipulation. You know, you think of European Union, very friendly. They rip us off. It's so sad to see. It's so pathetic. 39%, we're going to charge them 20%, so we're charging them essentially half.
Addressing some of those issues that we have, but also finding those areas of mutual cooperation so we can move forward.
That's great. Very nice. Thank you very much. It's a very nice statement.
We have reached an agreement on a 90-day pause and substantially move down the tariff levels. Both sides on the reciprocal tariffs will move their tariffs down 115%.
Fantastic job. He didn't need this. He didn't need it. The tariffs are so important, and that's why we were so happy with the decision yesterday where the tariffs continue, because without the tariffs, our nation would be imperiled. We all know the great Prime Minister of the UK, and we just signed a document. This is, sorry about that. This is it.
A very important document.
Little windy out here. Give me that. We just signed it, and it's done. And so we have our trade agreement. Japan is putting up $550 billion in order to lower their tariffs a little bit. That way they have a little bit lower tariff. And they also opened their country to free trade, which nobody thought was even a possibility. We've reached a deal. It's a good deal for everybody, I believe. And I think you were saying this is probably the biggest deal ever reached in any capacity, trade or beyond trade.
It is.
It's a giant deal with lots of countries, but I think it's the biggest deal ever made. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Well, we're negotiating right now, and it's also BRICS. You know, they have BRICS, which is basically a group of countries that are anti the United States, and India is a member of that, if you can believe it. And it's an attack on the dollar, and we're not going to let anybody attack the dollar. So it's we'll see what happens. China's been, we've been dealing very nicely with China, as you probably have heard. They have tremendous tariffs that they're paying to the United States of America. And we'll see what happens. They've been dealing quite nicely. The relationship is very good with President Xi and myself.
Will you meet with Prime Minister Carney during this trip?
I don't have any intention of it, no. Meeting, I have no doubt.
我肯定我们今天会有非常成功的会议。
But he's a very tough negotiator. That's not good.
但是他是很强硬的谈判者哦，这不好。
The very, very distinguished and respected president. I'd love to get rid of the extra 10%. I put a 20% penalty on. Had a great conversation about it with President Xi yesterday, and I'd love to get rid of the other. As soon as we see that, we'll get rid of the other 10%. Other than that, we haven't cut the tariffs at all with China. But we're going to have a great relationship with them, I think, for a long period of time. I stopped the war just today through the use of tariffs, the threat of tariffs. If we didn't have that, other countries would use tariffs on us, and we would have no fair means of fighting back.
Is that confirmation that Cambodia and Thailand you stopped?
They're doing great.
Mr. President.
They were not doing great, and then, you know, they had a conflict, as you know.
Sir.
And I spoke to the prime ministers of both countries, and they're doing great. I think they're going to be fine. He's a great guy, and most people love him. Some people don't like him. We hit Switzerland very hard. We want Switzerland to remain successful, and, you know, we're a part of Switzerland in the sense that they've been a very good ally. Yeah, we're working on them and some others, and we're working on others to increase them a little bit, too. Wow. The Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing, and I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country. The Democrats on the court are thrilled, but they will. Foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years are ecstatic. They're so happy. And they're dancing in the streets, but they won't be dancing for long, that I can assure you. Automatically vote no. They're an automatic no, just like in Congress, they're an automatic no. In actuality, while I am sure that they did not mean to do so, the Supreme Court's decision today made a president's ability to both regulate trade and impose tariffs more powerful and more crystal clear rather than less. I don't think they meant that. I'm sure they didn't.